Oh, yeah.
Hey. By the way, it's Thursday already? Hell yeah.
You say hey.
Yeah, I'm throwing it back.
What's happening?
What's happening, everybody? What's up, Raj? What's up, Danny G? Danny G is on the phones at 877-99 on Fox. Iowa Sam is here. Spots on the videos. Covino and Rich FSR, we're streaming live on the YouTube. Lowenkron's got your updates. But it's good to be back in Los Angeles. Had a great time in Vegas for CES. We were representing.
Yeah.
Represent. But we have lots of foosball to get to.
Oh, man.
Like I said, man, it is Thursday, and Thursday's the new Friday. So your football weekend is here, dude.
I love it.
I love it, too.
And we be rocking out.
And you can watch, like Covino said, youtube.com/@Covino and Rich FSR. We're going to go over every NFL wildcard game. We're going to go over college football tonight and tomorrow. Again, honestly, if you're a football fan like I am, I shouldn't have wore sweatpants today because I'm a little too excited about all this football. I'm just saying.
Someone's putting a tingle in your wild card football dingle.
You got Ole Miss in Miami, and then tomorrow we get to see your dude Mendoza.
Oh, yeah, Los Cubanitos.
And let's not, forget about Oregon. And then, of course, you got 6 wild card games. This is like a football fan's ultimate weekend.
Can't wait, it's
Agreed.
right. Now, if you miss any of today's show, it's going to be action-packed. You want to catch the podcast, search Covino and Rich wherever you get your podcast. We have our best of there. Every day there's a best of, a condensed version. So follow, rate, and review, 5 stars, and you can watch what you hear later on. Like we said, Covino and Rich FSR, and a live chat always popping. If you want to talk some smack, Covino and Rich FSR on YouTube.
The live chat be popping.
So it is Thursday, like I said, Rich, and what do we do every Thursday? We throw it back. Old school when 50 hits. Let's just say we're going to discuss some reality shows in between all the football. So start thinking of some of your favorites.
All right, so let's start where we obviously need to start because we're going to get to your NFL wildcard picks in a second. But, oh, man, no longer Mr. Miami Vice. Mike McDaniel out. To quote Vince McMahon, you're fired.
I love that. I mean, I don't love that from Mike McDaniel. I'm just saying. Yeah.
I do a pretty good Vince, right? You're fired. And it brings up a good question. You heard Ilo in his update, the consummate professional Isaac Lowenkron.
He dropped that the Lions have already reached out.
And you know what? What a great idea, because when they lost Ben Johnson, you could tell. Iowa Sam, I'll give you credit because I'm not one that needs the credit for myself. You were the first to point out in the beginning of the year that they were missing a little something in Detroit without Ben Johnson. Like something wasn't right offensively.
Thank you. The proprietary spice.
Yeah, and, Mike McDaniel could provide that spice. And here's my thought. My thought is, as much as I love Mike McDaniel, I'm a Niners fan, right? So to me, guys like him and Robert Saleh, I wish they never left. Saleh came back, and I'm like, yes. But do you think there's guys that – I know you want to get a head coaching job. I get it, right? Who wouldn't want that? But some people are such a great offensive or defensive mind that I almost want you to be like, no. Specialize in that. Mike McDaniel could be an offensive coordinator for any team, would be welcoming that guy. But does he reek of head coach to you? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know. I'm a fan like you guys are, but I love Mike McDaniel.
When you coached 4 years and you had some success, do you want to make that step back? Is it viewed as a step back? It shouldn't be viewed as a step back if you're great at that.
Not
right?
everyone's John Harbaugh that's going to have 7 teams call you the next day. I think a guy like McDaniel is going to get maybe some interviews, but he will be an offensive coordinator again before he's a head coach again. That's my prediction, at least. But you got to ask yourself, Covino, is there any shame in saying, I'm a really amazing play caller? What he was doing with the Niners offense with Kyle Shanahan, I do wonder that if he did have someone other than Tua, how does Trump say his name? Tua Tagovailoa? If he had someone other than Tua.
Tua Tagovailoa.
That guy, yeah. If he had someone other than Tua, do you think maybe Mike McDaniel could have made that system work a little more? I feel like
the answer is yes.
I feel like it was the personnel, not the schemes. That's why I wonder if
it would have been different.
If he's the offensive, if he's the OC, Danny G for Detroit, and he's there, working with Campbell, and he's got Goff and Jahmyr Gibbs and, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you don't think Mike McDaniels would flourish?
I don't know. When you're the head coach, you're kind of like the CEO, so all of the team is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Can't just put it on the quarterback. I understand what you're saying. You have a much better chance of keeping your job for a long time if you have a franchise QB.
You know what's cool about the Mike McDaniel thing, though, is he's still 42 years old, so he can go back to being an offensive coordinator, what he's great at, and become a head coach again if that's what he chooses to do in the future.
My other biggest observation about Mike McDaniel, you ever see those pictures of presidents before and after they were the president, and they go from like lively to like look like they got
we've seen that of your coach, Shanahan.
Like usually head coaching, they always say the manager of the Yankees looks like hell after a few years. Usually U.S. presidents look like crap. Mike McDaniel, the reverse. Did you see the first day and last day on the job? He went from like a nerd to like look like a Coke dealer in Miami.
He got a glow up. He got the glow up.
Yeah.
The American Idol glow up.
Remember? We did halfway through the season when there
it wasn't Clay Aiken. You
guys remember it wasn't even halfway through the season when there were all the rumors flying about him being fired then, and Sam played several of the clips where he just sounded very strange.
Yeah.
Talking
Cryptic,
to it was.
And with Danny, I'll be the first to admit, as much as I love Mike McDaniel, I said his goofy, quirky vibe works when you're winning. When you're losing, it's irritating to a fan. They're like, what is this guy talking about? When he's quirky and funny and you're winning, again, very different.
Well, let's go over the numbers and let's pose this question, all right? Fox Sports Radio Nation, the question is, well, what's next for him? You heard Rich, not a head coaching job. So then what's next? What do you think? What team? Any predictions you want to share? He was 35-33 after 4 years, so he had a winning record. Back-to-back winning seasons in 22-23, 7-10 this year. 2 years in a row, no playoffs, and that's really what put the nail in the McDaniel head coaching coffin. And
playoffs?
Yeah, and I'm sure it's going to work out for him, Rich. I went to ChatGPT. They immediately brought up the Lions. So
I love how you asked ChatGPT.
Well, you know what? It's not a tool that I care about, but I see but I'm seeing how younger people use it almost as like
the inside scoop.
Oh, I am your fortune teller. They use it as not only a confidant and therapist, but almost as a fortune teller.
Do you think Adam Schefter was in a Waymo and it secretly was listening to him?
Dude, I'm telling you. Look, one report says the Lions already reached out. Lions definitely a possibility. As far as offensive coach, as far as head coaching, kind of obvious, but ChatGPT saying Cardinals, Giants, Browns, Raiders, Titans, Falcons, Ravens. McDaniel will likely be in the conversation for some of those vacancies once interviews begin.
Hey, Danny
Has
G.
a great offensive reputation.
Are you, in your mind, as a Raiders fan, narrowed down who you want? I know Giants fans are talking about Harbaugh. Are you guys in that conversation, you think?
It's funny because over the past 24 hours, Derek Carr has made some noise on social media.
That's interesting because I thought he's leaning more broadcasting.
Well, no, not as head coach. He kind of just they talked about on he and his brother's podcast, Clint Kubiak, who was his OC in New Orleans before he moved on to his current team. And Kubiak, as you know, doing big things in Seattle, and that seems like it would be a great fit for the Raiders because they need a young offensive mind.
Yeah, I think the same way we get excited about the draft and look, Mendoza, where he's going to go, probably the Raiders. When we start speculating where players are going to go, where we start speculating about where a lot of these free agents in baseball are going to go.
Hold on, you just said something pretty interesting.
The coaching carousel is equally interesting to me because it's like, where are all these guys going to end up?
What does Mendoza get a lot of credit for? Besides being likable, it's the fact that his football IQ is through the roof, right? You don't think him and McDaniel would vibe in that way? I think they totally would.
Mike McDaniel, as if you've seen any like little quick docu pieces on him,
remember he's like a savant.
He went through some substance issues, right, and then he cleaned himself up. But he's always been like a really quirky, brilliant type of guy.
Major football brain.
You know what I would like as a fan, though? A coach who is ascending, not a coach who seems maybe he's slipping back in the other direction. Pete Carroll. He slipped backwards his last few seasons in Seattle. And it's funny, we were talking yesterday about how he and his son refused to play the rookies in Vegas. That was kind of his MO in Seattle the last couple of years, too. He had a horrid line there wasn't playing some of the rookies. The fans were getting frustrated. And then that's what happened in Vegas. So I just feel like, I guess the word is retread. Like I want a guy that's like the next, like, John Madden. Is that possible? I don't.
It might take a step back though. From
what do you hit? 1 in 20 coaches maybe when it's a young guy that's unproven or was just an OC or a DC.
It's interesting. It's I'm always intrigued what goes into this process, Danny G. Like if you're the front office, right? When you're doing these interviews with these candidates, if you're Tom Brady and Davis, and you're sitting down with candidates. Like, to what level are you picking their brain versus looking at their body of work? Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall at some of these meetings where, like I said, imagine that. Imagine, your whole Raiders front office just sitting down with like 5 different guys.
You want to be in the room where it happens?
As they said in Hamilton.
Yeah.
The room where it happens.
Yeah, because, Rich, how much of the conversation is about X's and O's and schemes and personnel? You know what I mean? Like, how do you split that pie up?
Yeah, versus do I like you?
Exactly.
Versus
the personal stuff.
do I think you could command a 53-man room? It's interesting to me. And to quote former President Barack Obama, a lot of times you get in these rooms and you're assuming like everyone's so brilliant. Remember he talked about this. We've quoted Trump. Let me quote Obama. You remember he talked about when he was ascending to the presidency, he would find himself in rooms with really powerful men and women, and he's like, you quickly realize they ain't all that. like you think the process is way more complicated because you're just a fan. And not to knock him because he's a great guy, but I remember chopping it up a bunch with Steve Phillips, MLB, former GM of the Mets. We would see him all the time in the kitchen at SiriusXM, and we became pals, right? And I remember Steve Phillips and I talking about baseball all the time. And I would turn to Covino and go like,
that was Steve Phillips? I thought that was Leslie Nielsen.
I remember saying to Covino.
I thought it was Phil Donahue.
I remember saying, he's a really cool dude.
No, he was super cool.
But I remember thinking, he's just a regular guy that was making decisions as a GM. Like, is he like? He's just a guy. And,
there goes my hero. He's ordinary. That's the truth.
Isaac,
he's just another person.
I feel like I got the thumbs up from Lowenkron on that one. It's wild because
you are so true, and people out there would not believe it. Like we've all been around people who have been longtime pro sports players, NFL, NBA players, coaches at the highest level, and you expect there to be some unlocked mystical dimension of insight that we will never achieve. But actually, you're absolutely right.
Because everybody's just trying to figure it out, and that's the truth in life.
And so many people are just faking the funk.
Yeah.
Not to call anyone out, because I don't want to be a D, but Covino and I have done random TV shows and different things. Let's just say we recorded something once with an 80s TV star. And it was a bit we did, and it was really, honestly, simple liners. Like, Covino had 3 lines, maybe I had 3 lines, and this guy had a couple lines. It was just a quick little promo thing. I looked at Covino, I'm like, this guy was like an 80s superstar. He is brain dead.
Yeah.
And I was like,
couldn't do the most simple thing.
When I tell you, like,
Rich and I have 0 acting chops, and we're looking at this guy who is a TV star. Like, is this guy for real?
20 takes. And I remember being like,
no joke.
We put people on a pedestal. That's why I would love to see. And I think we do get a pretty cool glimpse sometimes inside the draft room, Covino, at the NFL draft, where you see, I love the clips where it's like, sometimes like coaches and personnel's kids will be like, Dad, draft this guy. And sometimes the kid's right.
Yep.
And the dad's wrong. And he's meanwhile the GM of a team. So it is interesting to see where Mike McDaniel lands. My prediction.
Coordinator or coach or head coach?
Yeah, my prediction is a safe one. Not because I want to be safe, but I truly believe a team like Detroit or someone will say, Mike McDaniel will be a head coach maybe again someday. But the next move for Mike McDaniel to me is obviously a team that's just missing, as Sam said, that little extra adobo, that little extra Lowry's, that little seasoning on top that Mike McDaniel could bring in and take.
Proprietary blend.
Yeah, he could take a good offense and take it next level.
Well, the other issue is you really, really need your head coach and your GM to be on the same page, and the owner for that matter.
Yep.
We've seen what happens with teams where there's a division between those 2 guys or 3 guys.
Did you hear speculation, too, that, and I don't blame him, but a guy like John Harbaugh is pretty much saying he's waiting to see all, because there's speculation that if the Packers lose, Matt LaFleur could be on the hot seat. If the Bills lose in the first round against the Jags, maybe McDermott's time is done. So Harbaugh's in the position to sit back and say, you know what, I'll make a decision when I'm ready. And when he does make a decision, he's in a position where his resume would dictate that maybe he could even say, I want to decide on all personnel. Like, I want a good amount of power, almost the way a legendary coach could. They're giving John Harbaugh a lot of props out there.
No doubt. All right, so your thoughts?
Did you expect that, by the way, Jenny G, to wrap it up? Did you expect Harbaugh to get the respect he's getting after this firing? Like, we're talking teams are rolling out the red carpet. Like, every vacancy is like, John Harbaugh.
I did. Remember my initial reaction when Ilo broke the news was he's going to get a job before the week's over.
I do remember that. Yeah. I think you said within 48 hours. I guarantee.
First of all, I don't sound anything like that.
Yeah, right. All right, so your thoughts next right here on Covino and Rich. And stick around because old school when 50 hits. We're talking reality shows. We got more next on Fox Sports Radio.
All right. Now, are you facing hiring headaches? Is that your problemo?
I'm facing regular headaches, thanks to you.
Yeah. Hey, hang with me. It happens sometimes. Staffing your business is complex, not easy. High turnover, skills gaps, and ever-changing regulations. It could slow your growth and drain your resources. That's why Express Employment Professionals, they come in with decades of staffing expertise. Express connects you to a larger pool of qualified candidates, helping you reduce turnover and building the right size workforce. You could get started at expresspros.com.
Need to flex your staff for peak seasons or special projects? Express Employment Pros offers contract staffing so you can scale up or down with ease, preventing burnout and boosting productivity.
You don't have to flex when you read that.
Oh.
Worried about compliance? Express stays on top of ever-changing employment laws. Express is recognized for excellence, earning clearly rated Best of Staffing Client and Talent Awards, plus the Diamond Award for Client Satisfaction.
Don't let hiring challenges hold you back. Hold your business back. Visit expresspros.com, find your local office, and discover how Express Employment Pros can help you hire smarter and faster.
If hiring is taking away your growing business, get your support you need from Express. Don't spend your time weeding through spam online applicants. Hire fast with Express. Express Employment Professionals, building your workforce, supporting your success. We get into the wild card. 6 games, 5 of them are so close to call that you could argue maybe more underdogs could pull away with wins this weekend. Let me hit you up with this real quick. We start the weekend Saturday. You got 2 games, right, and then 3 on Sunday, and then a Monday Night Football. Other than the Rams, just probably winning because it's your easiest first round matchup. Packers Bears. Oh, come on, please. No one's got a gauge of no one's got a real good read on that one. And Bills Jags. How can you tell me you have a read on that one? That's another 1-point favorite. Now, Eagles are getting your courtesy 3-point home field advantage over the Niners. But the Niners take away that loss against the Seahawks where they were shut down. What was everyone saying? Man, the Niners offense can't be stopped. And the Eagles have been floundering here and there. So you're telling me that you have a good read on that game?
Mm-mm.
No way.
But I do believe your 49ers could win that game.
I absolutely think they can. And then
even after that terrible performance.
And then Chargers Patriots.
This one's interesting because the Patriots do not have a good pass rush game.
They do not, which means you're giving Justin Herbert and that team an opportunity, right?
Maybe, because they have the worst, them and the Raiders, have the worst O-lines in the league. So this is going to be crazy to watch. Can the Chargers actually get the ball out of Herbert's hand? Can the Patriots find a pass rush? That's going to be the key to this game.
And not to be that guy. I never want to be the guy that says, well, they didn't beat anyone. The Patriots did benefit from a soft schedule. So while they do have home field and while the Patriots are 13-4.
14-3.
14-3. You could argue that it's a soft 14-3. And the Chargers, that's why they're only favored by a field goal and a half at home, because people are like, how good are the Patriots really in a playoff game against Harbaugh? Vrabel. This is the first year, Drake May's first real sort of look in the postseason, right?
Chargers are rested now.
Chargers didn't play last week, really. They sat everyone. And when you look at who the Patriots beat, not to be that guy, but they beat like a lot of teams like the Saints and the Panthers and the Titans and the Browns and the Falcons and the Jets. And
You're sounding like that guy.
I don't want to sound like that. The Giants. It's the Jets again. To me, we'll see. Listen, if you really believe that they were a 14-3 powerhouse, they wouldn't be favored by a field goal over the Chargers. And then after that game, Covino, let's keep going.
Texans Steelers.
You would assume that based on how hot the Texans are, their defense is ridiculous.
The hottest team in the NFL.
They seem like they are hitting their stride. But then
Metcalf is back.
Yeah, then you look at the other side and you say,
Yeah.
well, Metcalf is back, and Aaron Rodgers' playoff experience and Mike Tomlin's experience, you start putting all those things in the mix, and you're like, all right, well, that's the great regulator. That's
9 wins in a row, though, for the Texans, and their defense did look a little vulnerable in the past few games, but who could be hotter than them? So Steelers' hands are full.
Steelers are 3-point dogs there, so I don't think
But what do we say, too? We said it, got to stay consistent. At least I said it.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, I quote as of today, excited as hell to be back. Who sighed a bigger sigh of relief than him? We already established that as well. Aaron Rodgers pumped to be back. It's been a while. I think they're coming with DK Metcalf having extra to prove here. Like, he has a lot to make up to his team. So I think he's going to try to put it on his back.
I'm looking at all the feedback.
That's a battle. That's going to be a battle.
Mike Oliver said Texans are going to be such a tough out in the playoffs. He wouldn't be shocked if the Houston Texans made a run for the Super Bowl. K Rain 19 says, guys, it's so funny because I could see Rich's Niners really making a run, but then I could also see it getting out of hand in favor of the Eagles if it goes bad in Brock Purdy's way or something. That's why all these games.
The Eagles' defense is no pushover.
Yeah, no, but Danny, remember in years past where you're like, all right, these teams will win, and then it'll be Brady versus Manning in the AFC Championship, and you knew there were sort of gimme games along the way? I don't think any of these teams, except maybe the Rams, getting the soft card dealt with the Panthers. Other than that, all the other 5 games, I'm so curious later in the week when we do our picks. I wonder if we'll do our annual parlay where we put $5. Everyone has a chance to see how they could do on a 6 or 6 parlay. We never hit those. I think, 1 year one of us hit all 6? Our wild card weekend parlay. All 5, no one's going to get them all.
Man, this is why people need to hit us up, Covino and Rich FSR on YouTube. Watch what you hear, because you got to see Iowa Sam's dance moves. Honestly, it's impressive. Iowa Sam is our sound architect.
It's like there's an earthquake.
And he's our resident dancer. It's like ska in the early 90s. Remember ska music, like the tighty-whitey boss tones? How there was a guy that just danced?
Iowa Sam's the guy that just dances.
Yeah. That's Sam for us. And, of course, Spot is on the videos, manning the videos.
I feel like Iowa Sam definitely went through like a rusted root phase.
Oh, yeah. He definitely wore like sandals.
I love all that kind of music.
Yeah.
Send me on my way.
Send me on my way.
Send me on my way.
On the way.
Yeah.
On the way.
Yeah, I could see that. Spots on the videos, Covino and Rich FSR on YouTube to see what you hear. Danny G is our super producer on the phones, 877-99 on Fox. He's the guy that helps us come up with all these great ideas every day. Couldn't do it without him. It's good to be back in Los Angeles. Covino and Rich, we got Low and Cron with your updates. But, Rich, before we get into all your picks and everything, lots of football this weekend.
Yeah.
Serious question. because I see what people say on social media, and I know there's like a stigma of moving backwards sometimes. Like, do you look at being a head coach back to a defensive coordinator like your boy Salah or Mike McDaniel here? If he were to go back to an offensive coordinator, is that a step back in your mind?
I think employment is the most important thing, and I'm not trying to be like righteous, but I think about that sometimes. I'll watch a movie or something with my wife, and it'll be like a cheesy movie, and I'm like, that actor used to be in like more legit stuff, like. But they're getting work.
Yeah,
like,
it's a job.
You know, when you see
when I see Solly, like when I see him, for example, I don't look at it that way, but I see a lot of people
like,
say
you
that.
know, there'll be like a reality show, like villains all living in a house, and it's like, they used to be like on reality shows that mattered.
Well, we're going to talk reality shows here in a few minutes, but it's like Salah, he's up for head coaching gigs again, so it's almost like one step back to get two forward again once you reprove yourself.
You know what? It makes me think of something, speaking of righteous and cheesy, Rich. You might like this one. But it's a meme that someone sent me. Our buddy Cloveman sent me this when I was going through a divorce. And it sort of applies if you look at it as a negative or a step back in life. An arrow can only be shot by pulling it backward. When life is dragging you back with difficulties, or you got fired or whatever, it means it's going to launch you into something great. So just focus and keep aiming. Sometimes in life, I mean, aside from coaching, in life, you have to move backwards to move forward, and that's so true.
Why'd you put your phone down? Text that to Mike McDaniel.
You know what? I was gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna DM him. I'll DM Mike McDaniel right now.
All right, let's
for inspiration.
do this.
But he might not need it. He's 42 years old. He's in a great situation. So anyway, your thoughts? 877-99 on Fox. Covino and Rich, and your next success can begin sooner than you think. Apply now and save with no application fee through February 11th at University of Maryland Global Campus.
This new year, put your goals within reach at an accredited state university. Learn more at umgc.edu. And it's time. We do it every year. Wild Card Weekend. Could someone hit a 6-for-6 parlay? It's not easy. I remember in the past, no one's gone 6-0. Our pal Lorena, who now works with Ben Maller, went 0-6, which, by the way, you could say is equally tough.
Yeah, but like Danny G said, the following week she went 5-0.
She hit 5.
Yeah.
Or
it was
how
5,
many,
4 games or whatever.
Whatever it was the next week, yeah.
But it's not easy being cheesy.
That wasn't playoffs. That's when we did this during the regular season.
And it's not easy to get all of these.
All right, let's go game by game. And honestly, we're doing point spread, and I'll throw in $5 or $10 for everyone, my treat, and we'll see if we can hit a parlay.
Thanks, buddy.
Our good friends at DraftKings. Rams at Panthers. Now, this is a wild one because if you remember, Week 13 of the NFL, the Panthers upset the Rams. And I'm not saying it's Week 13 because we've, every week, a month and a half ago, Covino, in football might as well be 10 years ago.
Changes a lot, but it gives Carolina some confidence, I imagine.
Like we beat this team at home. All right, but
whether it matters or not, they think that.
Here's the rub. Panthers, 10.5-point underdogs. If you don't mind, I'll start this one. I'm taking the Panthers. I don't think they win the game, but 10.5, you know what this reeks of? Backdoor cover, where Rams are killing them. Fourth quarter, McVay's like, we got bigger fish to fry, takes out a couple key players. Backdoor touchdown that means nothing for the Panthers, and they cover. So I'm going Panthers, not winning, but covering the 10.5.
Man, I agree with you there. I know that's not fun, but I do.
You could just go, what he said.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us are going to agree with you on this one.
I mean, but you know what? You could argue
completely agree. I think the Rams win, but just not by that much.
But you know what you saw? I mean, I know the Cardinals are ass, but they played the Rams tough in the first half of that game in Week 18. Because, as a Niners fan, I was hoping that there was a big upset there. But the Rams had this ability to score quick and a lot. That game was like 10-10, and then all of a sudden you blink your eyes and they're up by 20. So, I was Sam. Any thoughts on this or what?
You want my pick here?
Yeah.
I'm going to go bold here. I'm going to go a little fork in the road. I'm going to go a different direction. Say that the Rams cover, what was it again? 10.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to say they cover that. They pound the Panthers here.
It's not crazy. Danny G, are you rolling with Covino and I, or you think there's a pounding that's happening?
No, 10.5 is too many. I feel like Bryce Young is going to show up, and it's going to be closer than 10. I think maybe the Rams could pull away and win by a touchdown.
Hey, Spot, is a pounding on your agenda this weekend?
I'm here for a pounding, but not talking about the Rams. No, I do think the Rams actually will dominate, so I'm going to go with the Rams on this one.
Let's go.
Me and Sam.
And Isaac Lowenkron, a man of genius.
Yes.
Real man of genius.
When did that start?
What's up, buddy? What are you thinking?
At
Sir
birth.
Isaac.
Started at birth. I'm actually going to go with Spot and Iowa Sam. I think the Rams are going to cover.
Come join our pounding.
Wow.
Baby genius over here.
You're saying there's going to be a good Rogering in Charlotte?
Looks like
Good
they're
one.
going to pound
Mickey's
now.
laser reference, right? Very good.
All right, here we go. Your Saturday night game, which, by the way, what a great time for this game to air because everyone's going to be eating dinner on the West Coast. Everyone's going to be chilling at 8 o'clock on the East Coast.
One of the NFL's most glorious rivalries.
Bro, Danny G, you should be doing voiceover work for the NFL. Packers are going to Chicago. It's Packers by 1.5. They're a road team giving 1.5, which, might as well be a pick 'em, but we'll keep the point spread in mind. But Packers, Bears. Let's start with you, Danny G. What are you feeling?
This one is tough for me because on our prediction sheet in studio prior to the season, I picked Green Bay to go to the Super Bowl. But Chicago feels like a special year for them. It just does. And this might be a snow game, I'm reading. And I feel like Chicago can control the clock enough to eke out the W. It's going to be a close, but I'm taking Chicago.
Not to put Ilo on the spot, but Ilo, any key injuries I'm just not reminding myself of?
Not really.
Yeah.
So Roma Dunze and DJ Moore off the injury report.
So they're good.
full goes. C.J. Gardner-Johnson ruled out by the Bears. Zach Tom, Packers offensive tackle, listed as questionable, but that's all we've got.
All right, I gotta
Thanks,
be a little bit of a family homer. My wife and her family are Packers fans, and it's too close to call. I think Matt LaFleur, his job might be on the line, right? And they took it easy. They took it easy last week, like a lot of teams did. I think Packers in a close one just based on Matt LaFleur's experience, and I think there's plenty of great stuff in store for the Bears. But I don't know. I'm just gonna go Packers. Sammy.
Man, there's no Micah Parsons for the Packers.
Ooh, yeah.
And here's the deal: the Packers season was good, and then it's just like last 6 games or so. It's just been sort of
lackluster.
Flat.
It's been sort of falling apart. So I'm gonna go with the Bears here. I'm gonna go with the Bears to win this game.
Cove.
And I think Iowa Sam nailed it right there. And what Danny G said, because Bears look like they have a special thing going on. Caleb Williams is playing confident.
And they could run the ball.
They could run the ball now. And, man, it's just he's got that arm to make that difference. And they're playing at home. No one's really mentioned that. At Soldier Field, I'm going Bears.
I just want to remind everyone, I know it was a meaningless game last week for the most part, but the Lions did handle the Bears in Chicago. So it's not like, the Bears put up that 38 points against the Niners in that really close battle. But last week, the Bears were not the same.
I feel like they were looking ahead.
It's possible.
Packers have lost 4 straight games, though. They've lost 4 straight to end the regular season.
Isaac Lowenkron, thoughts on the Bears? Pack.
I think Sam nailed it with the Parsons comment. You just give Williams that much more time. I think that's – I don't know, man. I think the Bears got it, Rich.
Spotty Boy.
I think I'm going to go with the Bears on this one.
The Bears.
But I'm still going to say it's a tight game. I'm going to say Bears by a field goal.
Yeah, and they cover with that. Well, they cover
Because it's just if it were anything more than a...
Well, the Packers are actually a 1.5 favorite, so
Oh, yeah. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All right, let's go to Sunday. Sunday.
Sausage.
Let's move on to Sunday, which arguably is the most unpredictable game of the week. Yeah, as Liam Neeson said in the movie Taken, good luck. Actually, he didn't say it. The killer said it. Good luck. Bills at Jags. How do you?
Neeson said, "I will find you, and I will kill you, and I will kill you."
Good
Bills
luck.
at Jags. Is this Josh Allen's moment to shine, or is this Trevor Lawrence's time to say, "Yo, it's my 5th year. I'm ready, son"? Danny G, I'll start with you. What do you think?
All right. Well, this is going to be interesting to watch. Cook is the number 1 running back in the NFL, of course, a Bill. And the Jags have the number 1 run defense.
Oh!
So can they bottle up the best back in the league with their top-ranked run defense? That's going to be the key to this game. That means that all the weight will be put on Josh Allen's shoulders here. And I do think that he delivers and plays a great game, but I got to go Jags here.
Covino.
I'm going Jags too. What did we've been saying this for the past few weeks now. The Bills have fought for every win they had. I don't think they beat the Jaguars.
All right, this is the game that I think everything is pointing at Duval, Coach of the Year candidate, and Trevor Lawrence coming into his own. I just feel like Josh Allen sees this little window as a chance. Like, if he doesn't do it now, when will he ever do it? I'm rolling Josh Allen. Bills. Let's go. Spot.
What's the spread again?
So too close to call. Bills are favored by 1.5, so a field goal covers for either, whatever.
It's
really like a pick 'em, really.
Yeah, I know. I think it's going to be another no pounding in Jacksonville, but I do think it is going to be a tight game. But Jags edge out by like a point or two.
Sammy boy.
2. Let's say by 3 points.
Sammy.
I mean, the Bills I'm against all instinct. I've got to pick the Bills. I mean, I know they're a favorite, but I feel like they're going to lose. But I'm going to take them to win and cover anyway.
All right, now the game that is
So maybe I should have taken the Jaguars,
very emotional.
but I'm not.
Very emotional for me. My dad called me on my way to work today.
Oh no!
And he's like, Richie, you got to be careful bashing Philadelphia so much. There's a lot of crazy people out there.
Can I tell you, my mom called me and said the same thing. She's like, you think Rich saying all that stuff was a good thing?
Do I need to apologize to Philadelphia and crazy
Better
people?
have Mike who runs this place escort you to your car after the show.
My goodness,
It's part of the culture, dude. There has to be some trash talking, especially this time of the year.
Yeah,
if anyone understands trash talking fluently, it's Eagles fans.
Yeah, so Eagles fans, I'm just kidding.
Nah, you're speaking their language, man.
49ers going to Philly. I'll start as a Niners fan. The homer part of me is like, they're going to win the game. They're going to show you. I saw Trent Williams practicing, Ricky Pearsall doing some light workouts, Fred Warner doing sprints. Don't count on that. But even if they don't win, that point spread went up to 5.5. 5.5's a lot. I think the Niners cover. I want them to win, obviously, but I think regardless, they cover. I like the Niners here. We're forgetting that before the Seahawks stifled them, they were scoring 40 points a game. They didn't punt for 2 months.
I'm not talking smack. I'm saying it respectfully. I think they cover. I think they win. I think your 49ers win this game. I really do. I want to see the Eagles prove me wrong. But like we said about Buffalo, Danny G, I just don't feel it's their year. It hasn't felt like their year at all. So I'm going 49ers.
Danny G?
I think this is going to end with a last-second field goal. So, Rich, even if the Eagles pull it out like that, it would still be like a 20-17 win. Mm-hmm. So I got to go with your Niners here. That's too many points.
Sammy boy?
Eagles win, but the Niners cover the 5.5.
Okay.
Spathaniel?
Rich, you're my pal, and my heart wants to go with the 49ers pounding the Eagles, but I'm going to say Eagles by a touchdown. So I'm going to say they cover.
Is it your girl? Is it your Gumad, a Phillies fan? A Philly and Eagles fan?
She is. I have to go with that.
Yeah, I thought so. Okay.
Sorry, Rich.
You're going with Gumad?
Go Birds.
Wow.
Go Birds.
Listen to this guy. He goes with the ass instead of his best friend.
Yeah, sorry about
All right, Chargers, Patriots. Let's rapid fire this. Chargers at Patriots. Patriots, Drake May, Mike Vrabel, 3.5 point favorites. Ooh. I was saying, you want to start or what? I'll give you the
Who's the favorite?
The Patriots are 3.5 point favorites.
And they're at home.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe that Patriots schedule is super soft, like nice 2-ply toilet paper. I'm going to take the Chargers to win this game. Chargers are going to win.
Sammy, I'm backing you here. Not that I think they win, but if this game's a field goal game, I wouldn't be shocked. And sometimes that hook, as they call it in gambling, that half a point is like, ooh, because if it's a close game and the Patriots win by a field goal, you lose the bet. So I like the Chargers, and Harbaugh's prepared, man. He's a gamer, so I like the Chargers. Danny?
Sorry to our Chargers super homie Luis, but that O-line is too suspect. Patriots will find a way to get to Herbert. Patriots win this game.
Cove?
Man,
it
feels like a dream season for Drake May. Rich, you ever go to one of those hippie shops and they hand you a stone, they put it in your hand, do you feel anything?
Yeah.
And I never feel anything. I don't feel anything from this game. I don't.
Feel this crystal.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't feel anything.
I feel nothing.
You feel the power.
You don't feel the power, the vibration, the energy of the stone? I'm like, no, nothing. But
It's heavy.
Just based on Drake May being in the conversation for MVP and stepping up there,
win the
having
wild
such a
card round
year.
then.
We've talked about him all season. Yeah, I'm going New England here. They're at home. That's the only thing I can give you here.
All right, then Spotty.
I'm going to go with the Patriots, and I'll tell you why.
You have another girlfriend that likes the
No,
Patriots?
no.
Spot's second Gumad is from the New England area.
Here's the only reason I'm going by. I heard a stat somewhere, and I don't know. It was probably it had nothing to do with anything. But when West Coast teams play East Coast teams later in the evening, their biorhythms are off, and they don't necessarily thrive. So where I think the Chargers would dominate and pound this game, I feel like the Patriots are going to have that slight edge, cover the spread, and I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Oh, look at that, Patriots. All right, we got our Monday night game we'll do next, but let's first go to our buddy Ilo for an update. What's up, Ilo?
What up, Isaac?
Thank you, fellas. Today, the Miami Dolphins fired head coach Mike McDaniel after 4 seasons. However, NFL media reported this afternoon that the Detroit Lions have already reached out to McDaniel about their offensive coordinator job. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fired offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard as well as special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee. The Baltimore Ravens interviewed Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph for their head coaching job and have requested an interview with 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. The Cleveland Browns are interviewing incumbent offensive coordinator Tommy Rees as well as incumbent defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz for their head coaching job. Bears receivers Rome Odunze and DJ Moore are off the injury report and are full goes for Saturday's game against the Packers. Finally, in college football, the agent for current Washington Huskies quarterback Damon Williams today announced that he is cutting ties with Williams due to philosophical differences. Williams entered the transfer portal 4 days after signing a $4 million contract to stay at Washington. Guys, back to you.
Yo, thank you, Isaac. Now, the one final game, we'll get to that next. Think about it. Aaron Rodgers at home in the playoffs versus an unproven young, arguably better team. We'll do our predictions for that, and we'll go old school next right here on Covino and Rich.
It all comes down to this one game. The best of the best playing for the Lombardi. So if you're watching at home, watch it like it matters on the TCL Ultimate Series, the QM8K or the QM9K.
This is Super Bowl football coming up.
Damn, Skippy.
Bright stadium lights, fast cuts, big hits, and bigger debates. Was he in? Did it move? Did the ball cross the line? TCL brings the ultimate brightness and the ultimate black level so the picture stays clean from kickoff to the final drive.
It's so clear. You can almost smell the fresh cut grass. You see the ball spin on the deep shot, the toe drag on the sideline.
That's not fresh cut grass.
What is it? No blur, no hold up, run it back, and go big. The Ultimate Series is available in a massive 98-inch class, so every seat is a great seat. Not just for the people in the middle.
Yeah, when it comes to TVs, Covino's a real size queen. Yeah. If you can't get to the stadium, TCL is the Ultimate Series, and it's the next best seat. Available at all major retailers. TCL, the official TV partner of the NFL, here for Super Bowl 60. Something that I feel like I've always sort of felt a little bit, but after seeing his behavior over the last week.
Oh, boy. Here it comes.
Justin Herbert's just a big weenie.
Wow.
Justin Herbert, not a fan.
And Rich knows weenies.
Justin Herbert, I mean, he can make it right. I mean, my opinion, it can be easily changed. But I don't know. I just feel like he's done a few things where I'm like, you know what? The only thing cool about this dude is that he's hooking up at Madison Beer.
There's been 2 incidents in the past week where you scratch your noggin and say, hey, is Herbert sort of a, what'd you call him, a weenie?
Yeah.
Is he sort of a weenie? Is he a weenus? Is he the lead singer of Weenus? Or did we just catch him at a bad moment? Is he the type of guy that turns on when the cameras are on, but off camera, he's really a weenie?
No, because on camera, he's a weenus.
You got to realize that we don't have any idea, not even close to any idea of what they deal with as far as fandom and kids and people wanting their attention and autographs. But they're no better than anyone else.
Don't give me that BS.
But that is true, dude. You don't know what it's like.
Do you know how to behave in public?
I do, but guess what I don't have? People bothering me all day long, every day, every time I step out in public. The Chargers win, and they kick it down to the field, and Laura Rutledge is trying to get his attention. Like, hey, we're going to you for an interview. And he's like, I'm just trying to celebrate with my team. And I totally understand that, and I get that. But as a quarterback in the league, you also have to understand that when someone of the major networks wants to interview you, you're the go-to guy. You're the quarterback. You're the spokesman for this moment.
come on.
You're on television, and
these-
they caught him in a really weird, like, big-time moment. That's moment number one.
Bro, the fans and the billion-dollar deals these networks have to air the games and perpetuate you as a star player. And I saw people fighting over this the other day, back and forth. I go, he doesn't owe anyone anything. Stupid-ass interview. What is he going to say? But
I mean, it's part of the
his
deal, right?
apathy, I just feel like in these moments, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, I'm so adamant and strong-minded on this opinion.
You're adamant.
Little
Goody two-shoes.
Goody Two-Shoes? Great song. I'm so adamant that all it takes is for an athlete to be a little endearing to the fans and reporters, and I feel like people notice. All he has to do is smile. I even notice when athletes address the reporter by name. He's like, hey, Laura. If he we'll call the right first name. And then at the end, he's like, if he was like, hey, Charger fan, thanks for coming out. That's what the Mets will miss with Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso would, at the end of all his little post games, would always, hey, fans, thanks for coming out. Let's effing go Mets. Thank you, guys.
Just yesterday, another clip went viral, and I sort of saw it everywhere. And I think it's gone viral because it sort of continues that narrative of what we saw on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and I wondered, and I told you guys this last night when we were talking about this clip, I wondered if it was people piling on because of what happened after Monday night's game.
Obviously, very clear footage of Justin Herbert sort of big time at a kid who wanted him to sign something.
By the way, such a cute little kid, and I felt so bad for his face.
Yeah, and the dad's like, he'll take his hat off because he's wearing the opposing team's hat. He's wearing an Eagles
hat. He's wearing an Eagles hat and jersey.
He wanted a picture.
He wanted a wave. I'm sure he wanted a picture, but even if he waved at Justin Herbert, let's put it in perspective, man. I've seen a lot of people talk about this, and there's so many things I agree with. You don't have to be a fan of the Chargers as a kid especially, to want to get his attention and have the thrill. A little wave from Justin Herbert would have made that kid's, I don't want to say his life, but it would have made his whole year that Justin Herbert acknowledged him, even though he's an Eagles fan.
Well, let me give you an example of this. You guys know me now. We've done this show. You and I have been friends for decades, but we've been on Fox Sports Radio for years. You know that I'm a diehard Mets fan.
Mm-hmm.
The first player that ever gave me attention wasn't a Met. I went down on the field. I've told the story before. Not on the field. I went down, batting practice, was hanging by the opposing dugout, just, taking a look. You're a little 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid, peeking your head around. And San Diego Padre, Bip Roberts, took the time to say, hey, kid, what's your name? Signed the baseball for me, gave me a little pat on the back, and I went back to my seat.
You're like, whoa.
Yo.
I remember having that dude's baseball card.
And I was like, Bip Roberts.
All around the world, statues crumble for Steve. I'm Steve Covino.
For Steve.
That's Rich Davis. Back in L.A., you can see us, Covino and Rich FSR. What's the chat popping about, Rich?
Let me get the chat going.
Covino and Rich FSR.
As Sammy Boy plays some Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
Mark McGrath, I got to give him a shout out because we worked with him for years at SiriusXM. And,
You know what he said to me one time in the hallway? Were you going to say this?
Oh, zip up your fly?
He said, zip up your fly. No, he said, hey, man, I saw him in the bathroom. He goes, we're looking in the mirror fixing our pompadours. And he goes, you ever see a face more 90s than mine? And I'm like, now that you mentioned it, no.
I don't think
very
so.
90s face.
He does have a 90s face.
Super
and
cool
a
dude.
Very, very nice guy. All right, you know what? We are having too much damn fun. We got to do
Can
one
I
more
make an
game.
executive decision?
Sure.
Please
I
do.
think we're going to have to start old school in 50 hits at the beginning of hour 2.
All right.
What will the people do?
Yeah, I know. Well,
I know.
because listen, we're going to do the play of the day right now, and then we have the Monday night game to pick.
That sounds good. All right, so we're live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. It is time for our Tire Rack play of the day. The Thunder got it done against the Jazz in overtime last night.
Shea's got 42 points tonight. Straight away on the bounce. Guarded by Clayton on a switch. Works to the foul line. Spins down the lane. Lays it up right-handed. Misses. Holmgren on the follow flush. Thunder by 2. 124-122.
The Thunder Hear the thunder, courtesy of WWLS Thunder Radio Network. That was the play of the day, thanks to Tire Rack. Over 40 years, Tire Rack's been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive.
Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be. Thanks again to Tire Rack.
I mean, still dominating, but OKC, Danny, a little back to reality where they look beatable at least, because there was a minute where you're like, are they going to lose 2 games all year? Like,
well, the Spurs are the team that brought them back down to earth, but they're still, the most dominant team.
You know what it is? It's those scary karate kicks. Kicks to the rim from Wemby.
Well, after what the Spurs, I mean, they were without LeBron, but after what the Spurs did to the Lakers, you could argue the Spurs are right up there with the Thunder right now.
Can I tell you, Danny? I mean, I don't want to run too late. We'll get to our last game, but speaking of basketball, when I was in Vegas, I looked at the odds for the NBA title. The Thunder's still so far ahead of every other team that if you do want to wager on an NBA champion, every other team is so far back. Like, the Spurs odds are like a great bettor's bet because Vegas is assuming a repeat by the Thunder. So if you want to get in on that action, the Spurs got some pretty good odds.
All right, so we got our final game. And Danny G, I'm going to throw it to you because you want to get the listeners involved, right?
Yeah, Spotty had a great idea. During the break, he said, hey, let's give out the email address, and if you would like to pick your 6 and you hit all 6, we will mail you a CNR prize package.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, so email to me your 6 picks. Use the spread, the DraftKings spread, to crprizes@gmail.com. That's crprizes@gmail.com.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and if you hit all 6, then you have to prove that you follow us on YouTube, and then and we'll hook you up. So
no catches, except you got to go 6 for 6.
Yeah, if you go 6 for 6, you deserve a Covino Rich prize. But we're down to the last game. We did our picks, and now we end up on Monday night. Aaron Rodgers, and the Steelers. Mike Tomlin keeps his job for now, and they host the Houston Texans, who you could argue has one of the best defenses in the league, and they're hot. Who do you got,
Hottest
Covino?
team in the NFL.
Who do you
keep
got,
hearing
Cove?
that. You can only stay that hot for so long. So
You won it.
No, I am, because I'm going. I know you're not supposed to, but what are my stakes here? I'm going with my heart. And it's not that I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy, but there's a lot to prove. There's a lot to gain. And they got DK back, and I think he has a lot to prove. So I'm going Pittsburgh here.
You know, I love the story. Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf.
At home.
You know, probably feels a little bad about what went down, so he's going to be gaming and balling.
Added motivation.
But you know what? The reality, though, I want the Steelers to win for the story, but Houston's too good. I'm going Texans.
Okay.
Danny?
Quick for me. It feels like some Aaron Rodgers, Tomlin magic after that last game. I'm going Steelers.
Sammy?
As much as I would love to see Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers continue into the postseason, I am going to take the Houston Texans to win and cover.
Isn't it wild, though, how we kind of want to see that, where we went
absolutely.
from hating Rodgers to, like, getting down with the story?
I'm so sorry, by the way, that spread is 3, so Houston needs to win by 3.
Yeah.
Spotty, wrap it up.
Yeehaw, Texans.
Texans.
Okay.
So, all right, so if we pick the Texans, we all agree they cover by 3, right? Okay, cool.
And again,
All right.
crprizes@gmail.com if you want to give us your picks.
And I'll post all of our picks at Covino and Rich. We go old school next, right here on Fox Sports Radio.
It's Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio. Are you ready?
Yes! We talk about pop culture, we talk about sports, we talk about life.
It's a friendship on the radio. When you talk about the best athlete in the world, you're probably thinking Jim Thorpe, right?
I'm thinking
joking.
Bo Jackson.
I'd have to throw myself at the age of 12 into the conversation.
You are the home run champion. When you find the commonality between sports and life, those analogies and conversations are the best. You were dating some girl, and you were like, hey, babe, let's watch The Sixth Sense. Her mom walked in. Can you believe he was dead the whole time?
I wanted to get up.
Well, slow down, Dana White.
I don't want to say It's never boring.
If the Chiefs win,
Sorry, Patrick Mahomes here. What do you mean by if the Chiefs win?
Our friendship is real. It's authentic. You can't fake the funk.
We're the type of guys you'd want to hang out with at a sports bar. Best way to pick someone up at a bar?
Yeah.
Go up to a cute girl and say, oh, look at that bozo over there, and I'll point to you. We could make fun of each other, poke each other a little bit.
I call him Blubber Lips, Rich Davis, because he never stops talking.
He thinks he's the Mexican Fonz.
Yeah.
At any point, he's wearing a chain. You have a chain on?
Always.
Of course he has a chain on.
That's like asking me if I'm wearing cologne right now. Of course I am. We take a lot of pride in being inclusive and interactive on our show. Just the more the merrier.
Josh, Covino thinks that every man should own a leather jacket.
I only wear vegan leather.
Can you believe this guy?
I can't believe this guy. We have a very special connection with our audience, our listeners. People feel that friendship.
And I appreciate y'all's show. I love it.
It's all for you. Thank you.
Mike Tyson, Covino, loves to just challenge us with random Mike Tyson trivia.
Which accomplished celebrity purchased my sprawling Connecticut estate?
I'm going to go 50 Cent.
You are absolutely correct. 50 Cent. I love his song.
You can't schedule a big event during a big sports moment.
My family member scheduled their wedding the same night as a Julio Cesar Chavez fight. Everyone was glued to that fight instead of doing the electric slide.
This is weak.
Unbelievable. You're very tricky.
America, you got sports, you got fun, you got us.
Covino and Rich.
We're crushing it.
The Miami Dolphins today fired head coach Mike McDaniel after 4 seasons, but NFL media reports that the Detroit Lions have already reached out to McDaniel about their offensive coordinator job. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers today fired offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard, as well as special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee. The Baltimore Ravens have interviewed Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph and Broncos offensive assistant Davis Webb for their head coaching job. They've also requested an interview with 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. The Cleveland Browns are interviewing incumbent offensive coordinator Tommy Rees, as well as incumbent defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz for their head coaching job. And Chicago Bears receivers Rome Odunze and DJ Moore are off the injury report and are full goes for Saturday's wildcard game against the Green Bay Packers. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
You guys are good enough.
Hey, I'll take it.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
I like it. I'll be good enough all day. Covino and Rich back in Los Angeles. Had a great time in Vegas. If you missed any of our Vegas shows, you can watch them.
Yeah.
Covino and Rich, FSR on YouTube. You could watch us now and join the chat. Broadcasting live from the Fox Sports Radio studio. Our show is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and NBA. And right now, if you use the promo code CRSHOW, you claim special offerings at DraftKings. Again, that's promo code CRSHOW at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Hey.
There's more butt wipe.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's rock out first into our Thursday night. How about that?
Let's go, and then I'll talk about you butt wipe. Have you ever wiped with a piece of dry toilet paper and wondered, is this as good as it gets? It's not. Switch to life-changing, wet, extra-large, flushable Dude Wipes, because wetter just cleans better. Available at Amazon and at all major retailers nationwide. Props to our pals at Dude Wipes. Best clean, pants down. Get it? Pants down.
Pants down. You ever have to wipe with a dry piece of toilet paper and your phone dies too? It's like, man, is this?
What am I supposed to do here?
Is this as good as it gets? Man.
So, we do it every Thursday. We go old school. And you know that Throwback Thursday phrase? You know when that started, by the way? Take a guess. And how to be into social media? Think of that.
Yeah,
right? In the early days.
2009.
06.
Oh, wow.
This will be the 20-year anniversary of us using the phrase Throwback Thursday, which is wild, right?
And we throw it back old school and 50 hits on the clock.
LeBron James invented it.
So much going on. LeBron James has it trademarked. Yeah, that and Taco Tuesday. And today we look back. I think we kind of have to look back. I'm saying starting from 92. I'll explain why. Mm-hmm. But the reason we're talking about reality shows today is because on this day in 2004, they're saying one of the best reality shows, arguably, debuted, and that is Apprentice with Donald Trump. Right? That was before
The Apprentice was
people were divided on him. They said, hey, you know what? He's a hell of a TV show host. So we like this show.
The Apprentice debuted in 04, but I'm going to even add to this.
You're fired.
You're fired. Oh, poor Mike McDaniel.
I used to love that. You're fired.
You're fired. Who does it better? Who does it better? You're fired. Donald Trump.
You're fired.
Or Vince McMahon.
You're fired.
I think Vince.
I was going to say your old boss from Z100.
I think that's true. That is true. I got fired once because I got caught on another radio station.
I know.
I was cheating on a radio
station.
station.
The whole story.
All right, anyway,
but based on that, we want to throw it back to some of your favorite reality show memories and your favorite ones, really.
But it's not just The Bachelor. Jeez, I gave it away. It's not just Apprentice today. The Bachelorette debuted on this day.
No way.
Yeah, and
a different year.
Your favorite show. I Love New York debuted on this day, and I wanted to let everyone know.
What are the chances of all these shows debuting on this day?
Yeah, probably just that like winter lineup hits, right?
Yeah, but that's pretty wild.
But Isaac Lowenkron's favorite show, and I believe Iowa Sam loved it as a kid. 3 3/4 stars. Star Search.
Oh, with Ed McMahon.
They are revamping it, and it debuts on Netflix January 20th. And it's so weird. Jelly Roll's a judge, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and Chrissy Teigen, and it's hosted by Anthony Anderson.
Weird.
You mean the Slim and Trim Anthony Anderson? Have you seen him?
I mean, you mean the Slim and Trim Jelly Roll?
Yeah. There's a lot of weight loss on that
Is that show sponsored by Ozempic?
Seriously. So, based on all these anniversaries and the anniversary of The Apprentice on this day all those years ago, what were the OG favorites
The greatest.
Because it really changed everything, the way we watch TV. You know, for me, I said it goes back to 92 because I associate the Real World with one of the first, like, real non-scripted shows in that way. You could say game shows or competition shows are the original reality shows, but the Real World for me on MTV, 92 sort of changed the game as far as what people wanted to watch.
Covino's a big Johnny Bananas guy.
No, my sister is actually, yeah. But no, I think it really changed. It changed MTV.
Yeah.
That's when we stopped watching videos.
And for our age group, we weren't out of the house yet. We were maybe getting towards that point, but it was interesting to see others who were a few years older than us, you know, living out on their own for the first time.
All right. Now, when you talk about the best reality shows of all time, you could include reality like dating and game shows or following people around. I'm going to give you my two. I don't want to take the answers, but I have to throw it out there. I have two distinct favorites. One's in the dating world, and one's like following people around.
Okay.
And I know Covino's going to agree with me based on where he grew up. I think the best, hands down, reality show.
Yeah.
We don't pump our gas, we pump our fist. Jersey
Shore, bro.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
2009. Those clowns kept our interest on a whole new level. And the reality, pun intended, is if you grew up on the East Coast, you knew people like that. But the rest of the country was like, are these people for real?
True story. We actually wrote a song. We have a band, or had a band, called the Dirty Jersey Poets, a Tickle Sax spinoff. And we wrote a song called We Don't Pump Our Gas, We Pump Our Fists, because we don't pump our gas in New Jersey. We pump our fists. And they used it for the Jersey Shore. They used it on the show. We got credited and everything.
Our stupid parody song was actually on the soundtrack of the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, it's great. I remember.
You can find it somewhere online if you look hard enough. And you know what's interesting about that is being in radio for as long as we've been, we've interviewed a lot of really famous people. And at their height, I'm not sure there was anyone bigger than getting Snooki and Pauly D. And it was like they were the biggest gets at that time.
Sam.
At that time.
Sam, I know you could roll your eyes at this, but I promise you, when we were booking big guests.
I'm not lying, bro.
He's right. Like when it was like Snooki's in today.
It was a big deal.
People were like, wait, Snooki's here? It was a big deal. So I'm going to go my favorite following people around reality show.
Okay.
Jersey Shore.
That's great.
And I'm going to go more current for my favorite dating show. I'm fascinated and still think, as far as dating shows, Love is Blind. There's something about it. These dopes go in a pod. They talk to people without seeing them.
You said it so matter-of-factly like your dad. Oh, Love is Blind.
Love is
Hands
Blind.
down.
Because they clearly, once they see each other, it's not going to work out. But that like attempt to be like, we really clicked in the pods.
You know
and then
what
they
it is,
see each other, and it's like, yeah, you're not hot enough. And then
it's because it's an experiment that we all got to witness. Because you always wondered that.
As ridiculous, and it's a dating show. You could say, oh, how real is it? I'm going Jersey Shore and Love is Blind are my answers.
Well, I don't know if I have favorites. I never really loved the world of reality TV, but there's one I want to give credit to, right? Again, we're talking about it because Apprentice debuted on this day in 2004, along with a few other shows. I mentioned Real World 92. People debate that was the start of this, but we got to credit the late, great Ozzy Osbourne for allowing the cameras into his household and seeing a completely different side of Ozzy. Like, on paper, you're like, that's going to be weird, and who cares about his kids? And they made it so entertaining. I remember coming home from work, and I'd see my family cracking up, my younger siblings cracking up, laughing. All of a sudden, Ozzy Osbourne became like this wholesome dude that everybody loved and got a kick out of.
The Prince of Darkness was now like comedic relief on
it was
MTV.
Amazing. Yeah, and you realized how charming he was. And I think a lot of people saw what it did for his family and his career, and they followed suit, and that really opened the doors for a lot of other families and unlikely situations to happen in the world of reality TV. And that debuted March 5th, 2002.
Like Hogan Knows Best.
Yeah, there was a lot of shows and families that followed after that. So I want to give credit to the Osbournes.
Other families. I'll throw one more out there, and then the phones are all lit.
And by the way, you got to credit MTV. MTV played a big part in a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And you could say that's what ruined the videos, but it changed. It became a movement.
Covino used to make fun of me because I would always see the same name in the credits. There was a woman, Sally Salsano.
Sally Salsano.
Because every reality show at that time was like produced by her, so I was like, she must be making bank.
She was slaying it.
One more. I didn't really watch it, but I was fascinated. I thought it was a cool concept. When they took Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton and put them in like the country life and made them do like milking cows and all that crap.
Someone could produce a show about us doing that, for sure.
The Simple Life, I thought was a cool concept. I didn't watch it, but I feel like the girl I was dating at the time loved it, and I feel like a lot of girls in college were like, I'm
Send
watching
Rich and I to a NASCAR race, and we could recreate the show.
Yeah.
I was on the phones. I don't think you guys mentioned this one. I just got one because I remember thinking to myself, and I think we were probably in our late 20s when this was on, Rock of Love. Do you remember the
Bret Michaels?
Yes, my grandmother would call them hussies, but they were like party rock chicks.
They were rock hussies. It was the equivalent of like Flavor of Love, Rock of Love. Like was it called Rock of Love?
Rock of Love.
It was all these like not to be rude, but formerly huge rock stars, Bret Michaels and then Flavor Flav on the hip hop side. Do you want to date a former like rock star or hip hop star? And the girls that went out for those shows were even crazier than like The Bachelor. In fact, we met one of them in Vegas.
She was on Flavor of Love, though.
She was on Flavor of Love.
Yeah.
Her name is Ice, which is not a great name to have now.
But Flavor Flav gave her that name on the show, and she's now a rock host. She's a rock host for iHeart.
And she met us there. And she's like, "Hey guys, I'm Ice," and and she straight up first thing she said was like, "Yeah, I got that name because I was on Flavor of Love."
She said it changed her life.
Yeah.
So props to her. Yeah, that's insane. So what were your favorites? What do you think maybe never got enough credit, or your favorite moments as we look back at something that really changed the way we watch television, reality TV?
What you got? I was saying.
I have a quick one. I'm not a huge reality TV fan, but I actually sought out this show. It was on True TV. It started in 2010. Not Pawn Stars, but Hardcore Pawn. It was following this guy, Les Gold, and his family, and it was right off of 8 Mile in Detroit. And it was so funny because these people would come in to sell something at this pawn shop owned by Les Gold, and it was like clearly staged like a little bit. Like they'd pay these people, but they'd have the funniest interactions. These like people who are like on drugs or they're just like down and out trying to sell some fake watch, and they'd have these big blow-ups with Les Gold and his family, and it was just like so entertaining.
Oh, it's another good reality show, if you want to call it that. There was one where I believe someone got stabbed on the show. Do you guys remember watching Cheaters?
Oh yeah. That was Joey Greco, but wasn't that we found out it was actually staged, right?
I don't know.
He had like a blood packet or something, but he was on a boat and he gets stabbed by a guy.
I do remember that. But based on Sam's thought, I do remember Hardcore Pawn, by the way. I was a big fan in the early days of Pawn Stars before Rick became a sort of a jerk, in my opinion, scamming people. Yeah, I'll give you $2 for it. That started in 2009. I just remember getting a real kick out of like Chum Lee and like, look at these guys, man. Then they started slaying it, and they became superstar celebrities. But I was a big fan early on there. And when it comes to those type of shows, I'm also a big fan of American Pickers. So shout out to Mike Wolf. I like that show on the History Channel.
Let me hit you up with what might be the original.
But I don't necessarily consider that a reality show.
People say, well,
I'm with you with the Jersey Shore, Rich. That might be my all-time favorite when I think about it.
Danny, we all say Real World, right? Like when we were talking before the show, I was like, well, Michael back to the Real World.
For that style of reality TV.
Would you go back even further and say, well, as far as reality goes, was there reality? Remember Cops? Cops was on when we were kids.
Oh, hell yeah.
And you could argue that was real. I mean, it was,
that was
right?
real.
Bad boys.
What you gonna do?
Yeah.
What you gonna do when they come for you?
Big Mike, who doesn't run anything, brought up the great point of like America's Funniest Videos and shows like that.
He said, candid camera.
Yeah. All the way back because those shows did have a slice of reality.
Bob Saget, baby.
Do you remember the theme song?
It was really campy.
If you could give me the first line of that, I'll buy you lunch. I'll give you. Don't look it up.
America, look at you. But that was like the last line. America, America, this is you. That was the last. That was the end, though.
Stories from your friend next door.
They never told.
Wow.
Real life.
We gotta get a life.
Camera roll. It's the red, white, and blue. The funny things you do, America, this is you.
We got to get a life.
I know, we do. Let's go to Fred in Virginia. Beat that, Fred. What's up, buddy? Freddie. Fred Duardo?
Yeah, that's all you.
What's
Hey.
up?
I was calling about the news drop that he dropped with about the Detroit Lions bringing in Mike McDaniel.
Mike Daniel, go ahead.
All right. Now you guys are on reality shows. Hard Knocks has got to do one. If he goes to Detroit, my God, Hard Knocks is already great. I was going to mention that. But, think about the two of those guys together.
Campbell
that
and
is
McCampbell.
By the way,
and McDaniel.
I love that call, and I love the tie-in. I love how you brought that up. But you know what I give credit to, and I could be way off on this. Before Hard Knocks, you know what really changed the game, I think, when it came to inside look at sports?
24/7s?
Bam!
Yeah.
Yo, 24/7
those.
would get you so hyped for those Mayweather fights and Pacquiao. And, man, those were so
voiced
awesome.
by Liev Schreiber, right?
Yeah.
He did a stellar job. They would get you so hyped for these fights that you probably normally wouldn't care about.
Yeah, there would be no Hard Knocks without 24/7.
Wow. Okay,
24
so we're all on the same page.
24/7 was great, and
It was.
You know, it's so funny. I was going to bring up Hard Knocks because I was going to say recently in the world of sports, I think receiver and quarterback on Netflix have been great, but they're just really, a different spin on really Hard Knocks, right? But you're just following around some players. But he's right, Dan Campbell, Mike McDaniel, and we saw what a character Amon St. Brown is on receiver. Like, if they did Hard Knocks, I know there's a criteria, and I think you missed the playoffs, right? So the Lions did miss the playoffs. The Lions would be a very interesting follow.
That was a great call.
I agree.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yo, Fred, thanks,
Thank
brother. Let's add a Trip in Vegas, who we saw a couple days ago. What's up, Trip?
Trip, it was great hanging, man. What's up?
Hey, good afternoon. Great to hear. I just want people to know live, your hair looks even better than on YouTube.
It's a shame that I'm covering it with a Yankee hat today, yeah. Thank you, man.
Ooh, best hair in radio.
No shame in a Yankee hat. So I'll give you 4 quick ones, and I'll let y'all comment. Not in any order. I was going to say American Idol, Storage Wars, Deadliest Catch, and Fear Factor.
Yo, Joe Rogan, who is top of the game of
Joe
podcasting.
Rogan, you crazy?
You crazy, Joe Rogan. Yo, Fear Factor was his first gig when he had hair. I showed my kids a clip of that. I'm like, hey.
But it's back with Johnny Knoxville.
I know.
It's coming back.
The preview was on. I showed my kids, and I go, my daughter's name is Emmy. I'm like, Emmy, if I told you I'd give you hundreds of dollars to buy a bunch of toys or whatever you wanted, but you had to go in a little tank full of snakes. She's like, I don't know. Yes. No. Yeah. It's funny to
Well,
ask
that
your
show
kids
is
that.
so groundbreaking. Where it lost its way, in my opinion, is it went from Fear Factor to gross factor. How gross are you willing to get?
Yeah, it wasn't like
will
going.
you eat this disgusting testicle?
Yeah.
It's oh my god. For the sake of conversation, Rich, I
right,
asked my boy.
It did go from tank of snakes to eat testicles.
Yeah.
It really did very quickly.
Yummy.
Yum.
I asked my boy ChatGPT. What was the first reality show?
You mean Chad?
Chad GPT says An American Family, 1973 PBS, often called the first modern reality TV show, followed real-life daily experiences of the Loud family for several months, but it was defined as the first reality TV show. Earlier precursors, Candid Camera, 1948, 7 Up, 1964, UK show, Queen for the Day, 1950s. But they do go back and they say, bottom line, American Family 1973 is the official one. But Real World and Survivor were the game changers, is what it says.
Speaking of Survivor, season 50
That's insane,
is
right?
about to debut. Season 50.
They do 2 or 3 a year, right?
I would say if there was a Hall of Famer on
2 a
Mount
year.
Rushmore, Probst would be on there.
Yeah,
because
his
of how
whole career.
Yeah, his whole longevity.
The tribe
and how
is
he
spoken.
still keeps the who was the first guy? Richard Hatch or something?
I was
that
just
the
going to
first
ask you
dude?
a trivia question. Remember he didn't pay his taxes and he went to jail?
That's right.
Oh, you made me think of some other one. Remember those Average Joe shows or whatever where
Joe Millionaire.
Joe Millionaire, you remember that one?
I thought you were going to talk about the Petros one.
Oh, yeah.
Those are more of the game style
I like
ones.
those
Still
shows,
reality,
though.
though.
Yeah, that was a great Petros.
Pros versus Joes.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was. I remember that being a great show because it was the first time where it's some dumb jabroni could actually test his skills against a retired player. I love that show. That was a good one.
You know,
I'm sorry, Covino. I was
Yeah.
just going to say one thing that is interesting about reality TV. It's one of the genres where you could go from making fun of a show or making fun of your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend for watching one of them, and then suddenly you get pulled in.
So true.
Like 90 Day Fiancé. Brenda loves that show. And I just looked it up. That debuted in 2014.
Dude, people that love that show love that show. Yeah.
And I made fun of her at first. I'm like, these losers traveling to these other countries, and then I'd be looking while I was in the kitchen. What
You're watching that fat guy with no neck.
Exactly. Yeah,
Danny
from San
G,
Diego.
Quick story, man. The first half of our show together, Rich and I, he'd come in talking about The Bachelor all the time. Bachelor, The Bachelor. And I'd be like, you are the biggest weenie. I was like, talking about The Bachelor. Started dating a girl who's obsessed with The Bachelor, and sure enough, pulled me in, and I sort of take it back. I get the intrigue now, you know? I hate myself for it, but it's true.
I don't know if this is technically a reality show, but very fascinating. A show called Junkyard Wars, where they build like machines out of junk in like just like build like a hovercraft or like a go-kart, and they'd have to like compete.
Yeah.
And there was just they had to do it in 10 hours or like 12 hours. They build these contraptions out of crap.
That sounds like a fun concept.
Oh, very fun.
You know, Tripp brought up one that I think we got to readdress because it changed everything. Yeah, there was Star Search, there were shows like that, but like American Idol really did revolutionize. Like I props to Seacrest, and everyone's still doing it. It's fun to watch here and there.
Dunkelman, man. Dunkelman gets no credit.
I'll watch a highlight here or there. You know, Lionel Richie and, you know, some other people are on the panel now. But that original American Idol team, you know, now it's run its course probably, right? But remember back then, a nobody would actually become a star. The bummer with that show now is you
Not
win
only
it.
that, Rich.
You win it now, and no one knows you 2 months later. But back then, remember Kelly Clarkson was like some country bumpkin that was on a plane, never on a plane, and Carrie Underwood was like some small town girl, and Clay Aiken was a doofus. They gave him a glow up, like
lightning in a bottle. You couldn't have predicted that cast of Simon Cowell and Paula Abdul hadn't done anything in years. You know, not a well-known Seacrest.
And the reality, though,
no one would have thought it would have taken off like it did.
It was right before you could get famous from YouTube.
Yeah, and Kelly Clarkson, think about it. Got a daytime TV show, probably has about 50 songs people know. She has a Vegas residency.
She's
She's
like a game changer, Rich, because so many shows like that or a spin on that followed right
like
after.
X Factor and all those shows. Yeah.
Yep.
No doubt.
I put this in the category. I think MTV really put out a lot of fun stuff at the time. And, you know, of course, in the 80s, we had Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous with Robin Leach. But Cribs,
with Robin
don't
Leach.
tell me you didn't.
Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
Yeah, but Cribs was a lot of fun too, man. When you got to take a little peek, because tell me you didn't want like those man caves and their setups, watching that. It really made you dream big when you saw how some of these athletes and superstars were living. That was kind of cool.
You know the progression. It was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, then MTV Cribs, and then every idiot just fake brags about their life on Instagram and TikTok.
Yep.
We made it there.
Do you guys remember kind of in that same, kind of like Cribs, but a very short-lived show called Room Raiders, where a woman would go into a guy's house and look through his closet and be like, "Can I date this dude?"
Yeah,
and then they watch him on surveillance.
They would break out like a black light.
The black light.
Yeah, and they find like stains and
Wasn't
stuff.
there one like a Date My Mom?
That was
or something?
insinuated, Sam. The stains were insinuated.
The stains and stuff. They couldn't see stains.
Boy.
Stains, just lots of stains. You know, stains everywhere.
Stains.
All right, let's wrap this with John in Montana. John, Covino and Rich, what's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. I was just hearing that Angie said the season 50 coming up for Survivor, which is awesome. But one new one I'm fully about right now is Traders on Peacock, season 4 coming up tonight. That's probably one of the best reality shows out there right now.
Isn't Traders like it's all like the villains from former shows? So
Yes,
it's like
My girlfriend's obsessed.
yeah,
with
it's
it.
like the douchiest of douches, and they're all against each other, which is like probably a cool concept, I'd imagine. You know,
Traders is all the C-list celebrities participating. Yeah.
what is it like? Jax from Vanderpump? He's probably on it. I bet.
Probably.
like all they have Johnny Bananas in the
By
mix.
the way, it's a big one, man. Vanderpump. Now that you bring it up,
You know that also. All these shows debuted around this time. I saw that the other day. So, hey, enjoy your reality TV in honor of so many of them started on this day, from The Bachelorette to The Apprentice to you name it, Flavor of Love, all on this day. So, all right, listen, let's get back to the NFL. I can't believe we have all these coaching vacancies. Danny, we talked about how 2 more coaches could be fired if things don't go well. Maybe not, but LaFleur and McDermott, they're saying there's possibilities, right?
Yeah, a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah, a little bit. But you realize as of right now, a fourth of the league will have a new head coach next season. 8 out of 32 coaches will be brand new.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Which is, I wonder, is that some type of record? I'm going to look that up, and we will talk some NBA because, if you don't know what we're talking about, there's a clip of Wembanyama.
I don't know how you've missed it, but there's balls stuck in the rim, right? Stuck in the net. There's like 3 or 4 balls stuck in the net. So Wemby decides that he's going to like karate kick him out, and his toes are practically hitting the rim. And you have to ask yourself,
Stop saying balls and rim.
Have you ever gotten your ball stuck in? No. Have you ever seen anyone kick the rim? He crane
still
kicks
on the floor.
balls. Yeah, he's kicking the rim. He gets his legs up that high. That's insane.
Oh, he could be a rocket.
So, we're going to talk about like the craziest sports flexes. Because that might be like a top 3 for sure.
So, a little Wemby, some more NFL, all next. Covino and Rich on Fox Sports Radio.
Are you facing hiring headaches, Rich? Staffing your business is complex. High turnover, skills gaps, and ever-changing regulations can slow growth and drain resources. That's where Express Employment Pros comes in.
We talked about how a fourth of the NFL needs a new head coach. Maybe they need to go to Express Employment Pros. That's where they come in, man. Decades of staffing experience. Express connects you to larger pools of qualified candidates, helping you reduce turnover and build the right size workforce. Get started at expresspros.com.
Need to flex your staff for peak seasons or special projects? Express Employment Pros offer contract staffing so you can scale up or down with ease, preventing burnout and boosting productivity.
Worried about compliance? Don't sweat it. Express stays on top of ever-changing employment laws, so you don't have to worry about that. Express is recognized for excellence. They've earned the clearly rated Best of Staffing Client and Talent Award, plus the Diamond Award for Client Satisfaction.
Don't let hiring challenges hold you or your business back. Visit expresspros.com to find your local office and discover how Express Employment Pros can help you hire smarter and faster.
Now, here's the deal. All you got to do, go to expresspros.com. Express Employment Professionals, building your workforce, supporting your success. Dan Byer and Monty Bolaños filled in for us a couple days. I invited all you ass clowns. I said, do you guys want to watch the 49ers Seahawks? I'll order food on me. Let's go. And apparently Dan Byer talked about this on our show when he was filling in. Take a listen.
Rich says, guys, Saturday night, Seahawks 49ers, my place, 5:30. Come on over, watch the game. Dan, there's going to be a Seahawks fan here. Come on by. There's no way that I would be able to go to that party.
Absolutely not.
It is. I am not going into a 49ers house. I also am, I want to watch the game by myself sort of guy. So even though there would be another Seahawks fan there's no way that I could go over to this party. I appreciate the invite. And I think Rich is all welcoming. I can't believe Rich is going to have another Seahawks fan at his house for a get-together. I would not have blamed him for not inviting me. But, Monty, there is no way that I would want to watch the game with someone else or multiple other people who are probably closer to Rich that are saying, well, I want the 49ers. That's Rich's team. There's no way I'd be watching that game with them on Saturday night.
And he responded with that respectfully.
Yeah.
That's sort of what he said in the group message.
He texted me, like, respectfully, I'd rather watch the game with anyone on the planet other than you.
And
you know what? I don't want to talk
he said, thanks for the invite, but I can't.
I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth. I just know that Dan's a respectful fan. So I feel like I could have watched it with Dan. Like our buddy Wes in Vegas watched the game with us. He's a Seahawks fan, and it was respectful. I've told one of my Eagle fan friends, remember our buddy Steve? We have an Eagles fan who I told, like, yeah, I don't want to watch you because you're going to bother me. And he said I was a big wuss, and he got all mad about it. Because remember, I had the stance, and I blamed it on my kids. Like, yeah, you're going to upset my kids.
Yeah, that was a weird sort of way to
I was like, yeah, my kids are all
tell
pumped.
them no.
My kids are all pumped to watch a game. I don't want, my kids don't get it. you'll be rooting against the team we want. I'm like,
You
yeah.
should have just told him no. I don't know. For you to blame it on your kids, that is weird. But yeah, I think you assess the situation. The Eagles fan that Rich talks about, I could see him being annoying during the game.
He's obnoxious.
I don't see Rich and Dan and our buddy Wes being obnoxious with each other. You have to know the company. But I actually agree with Dan Byer here. I'm surprised that you invited a Seahawks fan, multiple Seahawks fans. They were nice ones, though. I understand your thinking. But I'm with Dan. Like, big games like this, I don't want any distractions and any people bothering me. I actually see his point, and I think he bowed out respectfully, and I think he did it the right way.
He did it. Listen, I respect it, but if you want to chime in, we'll take your feedback. We're going to play a game next, but if you want to chime in, at Covino and Rich.
Watching the big game alone or with mixed company is really what it comes down to.
It's not even alone. I think the mixed company is the part of it, meaning I think if you're like Covino, one time
he did say alone, though.
You and I watched a Yankees playoff game once. I'm not a Yankees fan, but I was, I'm a Mets fan, so I had no horse in the race. But there was a big Red Sox-Yankees game, and I remember someone brought a Red Sox fan.
It was my sister's boyfriend, Luis, at the time.
Yeah, but
he came in there with a Red Sox jersey, ruined the whole vibe. I wanted to karate kick him in the chest, and I liked the kid, but he started rooting for the Red Sox and
in your
being
house.
a jerk about it in our house, and it's a house full of Yankees fans. And he sort of leaned into that fun, and it was maybe fun for him, but it wasn't like fun for anybody else.
I told you about a year. Do you remember when the 49ers beat the Lions in the NFC Championship a couple years ago? One of the moms at the school was over the house. Like, we invited some of the parents over, and this woman who had no love of the Lions, she was just rooting for the Lions because she was like, yeah, I guess I want to root for them. I'm like, yeah, but you're in a Niners fan house? So when she was like, yeah, Jared Goff, I told my wife, shut her up or tell her to leave our home.
Yeah, zip it there, Zippy. Especially when you're watching there. Like, if you're really invested, you're watching really tight. You're tight. And even though
easily
that person,
perturbed.
Yeah, that person may be playful in the moment or whatever, but like that's not the time or place when you're on the edge of your seat,
bro,
all tight like that.
When your team fails to hold the other team on third and 12, and that person does a little yeah,
you don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear that.
It's even hard to watch with fans of your own team sometimes because it depends what kind of fan they are. Are they positive or are they a negative fan?
Shout out to Asai Morales and Sean Penn, the original Bad Boys. Not Will Smith, that fraud.
You think more people think Asai Morales and Sean Penn?
Asai Morales and Sean Penn, the movie Bad Boys, which has nothing to do with the Martin Lawrence, Will Smith one, was so good, dude. You're sleeping on it.
No, I think I'm fine.
Never underestimate Bob from La Bamba, Asai Morales. Hey, we're Covino and Rich. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Appreciate you. Why are you talking like William Shatner?
C&R on Fox Sports. We're good and nice. Doodaloo. I'm working on a jingle for us, guys.
Hey, we were thinking of just a last couple of reality shows.
There's a whole.
Rich, of course, Rich remembered this one, Dating Naked.
Well, Danny G and I were saying, I was like, there's a whole slew of naked shows, like Naked and Afraid.
Didn't you apply to be on that one?
Naked Dating. There's
he
a
came
bunch
up
of
just short.
Yeah, just short.
Also, we didn't give Exhibit props. How about Pimp My Ride?
Oh man, that's my guy, Exhibit.
Yeah,
that's so dope. Yeah,
there's
that
a
was good one.
DVD player built into the back seat now.
There's a lot of updates on how all those cars were just train wrecks afterward. Like
Yeah.
they were disastrous.
Yeah, they fell apart
Yep,
quick.
they all fell apart.
And Rich, which one did Mauser chime in?
Oh, our buddy Mauser said, think of all the controversy and positives and negatives to come out of The Biggest Loser.
You were on that one, right?
Yeah, there were a lot. There were a lot of network shows like that, like Wife Swap.
Oh yeah,
You were on that one, weren't you?
All right, so
Man, I just lost a cup of coffee to Danny.
you could. Why you expect me to say something? You
What do
made
you
a bet
Yeah, what do you think I thought you were going to say?
for what? For what show?
When he brought up Pit My Ride.
Something about Exhibit. What, that I flew on a plane with him?
Yep.
Yeah. Yo, I
Danny,
sat-
Danny,
I
owe
won
you-
the bet.
I owe you a coffee. I go, Danny's like, well, what about Pimp My Ride? I said, I guarantee if you bring up Pimp My Ride, Covino's going to say, I sat next to him on a plane once.
Yo, we chatted the whole time.
Yeah,
He
it
couldn't
was-
have been any cooler.
Honestly, I was like a row or so behind them, and I was like, who's Covino talking to for 5? Like, it was like a New York to LA flight. I'm like, Covino and the Exhibit are best bros.
Yeah, it was so cool. Well, I had
That's
a immediate connect. I pulled up a picture like, yo, you were on our show a few years ago. He's like, no way. So anyway, we're live from the Fox Sports Radio studio, and if you want to chime in on other reality shows, it's the anniversary of The Apprentice 2004. Hit us up at Covino and Rich at Fox Sports Radio. And quick reminder, in about 20 minutes, our bonus pod is back, overpromised. Episode 123, brand new episode debuts right here on Covino and Rich FSR on YouTube, so stick around and check that out. For over 40 years, Tire Rack has been helping customers find the right tires for how, what, and where they drive. Ship fast and free, backed by free road hazard protection with convenient installation options like mobile tire installation. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Facing a peak season? Well, don't worry. If you're looking for a new team member, Workforce Solutions from Express Employment Pros make hiring easy. Visit expresspros.com, find an office near you, and see how Express can help you hire smarter and faster.
Okay, so want to talk some of the craziest sports flexes? I know you have some things on your mind, Rich.
Yeah, I mean, this Wemby thing, you saw it before me because I was like, wait, what are you guys looking at here? And I'm like, is his foot? What?
Well, like, put it in perspective. Growing up, this is when you realize, well, I guess I'm never going to make it in the NBA. Like, if you could touch the rim, that was an accomplishment. First, like, you hit the bottom of the net. You're like, all right, I'm getting some ups here.
Yeah, Covino told us he touches rim just standing up.
No.
Not toilet.
No.
Not toilet.
You're just thinking playground, right?
Honestly, you're
gymnasium, high school.
You're absolutely right. If you're just horsing around with your buddies at gym class or at the playground,
You started with the bottom. You're like,
Listen,
all right, I got the bottom.
I'm not going to BS shit. None of my friends could slam dunk, but it was a bragging right to be like, yo, you could touching rim was like, all right.
Touching rim was you had some ups.
Touching rim meant you were like roughly 6 foot and like you had some skills. Like, I could touch rim.
And
I
then
can't
they
dunk.
started mass producing those adjustable rims. Everyone had one. You lower it down to 8 feet. You start slamming, jamming, rip roaring, and ramming. All right, that was a game changer. But for most regular people, you barely touch rim. And now you got freaks in the NBA like Wembanyama. This dude could lift his leg.
He karate kicks it.
He could karate kick the rim.
Do you understand what we're saying here?
That's why I'm putting it in perspective. We couldn't even jump with our hands held high and hit the rim barely. This guy lifts his leg up, a little crane kick like Daniel LaRusso, and he touches it with his big toe.
Look at it this way. We've seen things where it's like, yo, you've seen a guy hit his head on the backboard where you're like, yo, he's so tall that he went up for a rebound and misjudged it, and he,
ups.
Yo, sometimes
I used to pray for ups, never got any.
Danny, you've seen players like hit their head.
Oh yeah,
on like the lower part of the backboard because it just they're so big. But
LeBron was trending the other night because on one of his dunks, his head was at the rim, just above the rim, and people were like, this freak is 41 and his head's above the rim still.
This, by the way,
blessed, man. But you know what? That's something you can improve on. If you worked hard enough at it, you could always improve your jumps for sure. Just didn't work hard enough.
I'm not trying to be fattest. Would that be the term?
Mm-hmm. Yep, fattest.
It's like racist, but against fat people. You ever see on social media there'll be a funny clip where like let's say some big fella tells his wife or someone like, I could still jump, and then he jumps and he gets like 2 inches off the ground.
Oh yeah,
like, he's like, I can do it.
You lose it, man.
And he jumps like 2 inches. To think like just a regular guy. If we went to the basketball court right now at the gym across the street, if I told you, Covino, take off from the free throw line and see if you see like how close you would even get, and then think like Michael Jordan and guys like that were taking off and dunking from there and doing pump fakes and you jump, your feet are on the ground like that quick.
So when we're seeing guys like Wembanyama now able to put their foot up to the rim, what are some other crazy sport flexes that come to mind? I got a few. I got some fun ones and some legit ones. Like what comes to mind immediately is Kurt Hennig, how he would throw a pass and catch the pass to himself because he was Mr. Perfect. Because he did everything perfect.
All right, I'll give you one for real. I'm not saying Mr. Perfect wasn't real. I'm just
Wait a second.
You know how he bowled the 300, was perfect at pool. It was a great gimmick.
Mr. Perfect has a sweet three-point shot too.
I'll give you one that I always was fascinated by because as a kid, you didn't realize how much strength was needed when Bo Jackson would break a bat over his knee
Sports
or just
flex.
break a bat. You'd be like, yo, like you thought about that. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you hold the bat and you're like, oh.
Yeah, right. He broke it over his helmet.
Yeah.
Over his helmet.
You know who did it this year? You know, I'm going to miss him a lot. Polar Bear Pete. Pete Alonso did that this year. And when you see one of these big, strong guys break a baseball bat, you're like, or like it's like a strong guy ripping a phone book. You know,
this way, if you tried to do that, you'd probably roll around in pain. So we'll get to your phone calls, your feedback, and we got more, crazy sports flexes next. But we got Ilo now with an update.
Isaac Lowenkron.
Do you mind if I real quick give you my sports flex?
I would love it.
This is not so much as a flex as just a great story. But back in the 60s, during the peak of Muhammad Ali, the top player in the NFL and arguably the greatest running back of all time was Jim Brown. Jim Brown made it be known that he very seriously wanted to box Muhammad Ali. He thought he could legitimately beat Muhammad Ali because he was such a great athlete. Remember, he was like an epic lacrosse player in addition to being a running back. So the two of them happened to be in London at the same time, and Ali tells him to meet him in Hyde Park, which is a famous park in London. So there they are, Ali and Jim Brown, just the two of them, face to face. No handlers, no nothing. And before Jim Brown says anything, Ali starts lightly slapping him, just slapping him like this.
Yeah.
And Ali's hands were so lightning fast that Jim Brown realized right then and there, yeah, there's no way I could ever.
That's a great story.
He
Really
saw
great
the
story.
flex up close with literally the greatest of all time. Back to you. All right, we'll quickly run through what happened in the NFL today. Another busy day. The Miami Dolphins firing head coach Mike McDaniel after 4 seasons, but NFL media reporting the Detroit Lions already reached out to McDaniel about their offensive coordinator job. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers fired offensive coordinator Josh Grizzard as well as special teams coordinator Thomas McGahee. NFL media just reported, guys, that the Tennessee Titans will interview former Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy for their head coaching job.
Wait, who's interviewing McCarthy?
The Tennessee Titans.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
Yes. The Baltimore Ravens, meanwhile, have interviewed Broncos defensive coordinator Vance Joseph and Broncos offensive assistant and former NFL quarterback Davis Webb for their head coaching job, and have also requested an interview with 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh. Finally, guys, with the Buffalo Bills moving out of Highmark Stadium after over 50 years, Buffalo Toronto Public Media reports that a collectible company that's been contracted to sell souvenirs from the stadium, including seats, pieces of the field, things like that, is considering selling urinal troughs from the stadium's men's rooms.
Wow.
Good. I need a new bathtub.
Keep that in mind for the special Bills fan in your life. Back to you.
That's a good one. Isaac, great update. Great seeing you today, buddy boy.
Great story, too. Thank you,
and
Isaac.
you know what? There was another great story as far as sports flexes that I will let you know next. It has to do with a bunch of superstar athletes racing each other when we were kids.
Can't wait.
We'll get to that and more next on Fox Sports Radio.
It all comes down to this one game, the best of the best, playing for the Lombardi. So if you're watching at home, watch it like it matters on the TCL Ultimate Series, the QM8K or the QM9K.
This is the Super Bowl, guys. Bright stadium lights, fast cuts, big hits, bigger debates. Was he in? Did it move? Did he cross the goal line? TCL brings the ultimate brightness and ultimate black level, so the picture stays perfectly clean from kickoff to the final drive. It's so clear you could smell the fresh cut grass.
You see the ball spin on a deep shot, the toe drag on the sideline, no blur, no hold up, run it back, and go big. The Ultimate Series is available in a massive 98-inch class, so every seat is a great seat, not just for the people in the middle.
If you can't be in the stadium, TCL Ultimate Series is the next best seat, available at all major retailers. TCL is the official TV partner of the NFL, here for Super Bowl 60.
Covino Rich.
Let's start with Cam Scattaboo, or as I called him, Scam Cataboo.
Ooh, Scattaboo.
He's getting a lot of negative press this week.
Yeah.
What's
It's all
he
bullshit.
doing?
It's all bullshit because he goes to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And since we talked about it, just a little update. Coach said it was an organized trip for the rookies on the team. It's bonding. They do things like this. It's just everyone, because he's hurt, has a fucking problem with him shoving wrestlers.
Bad optics, though.
The Judgment Day.
Think of how Giants fans feel knowing how much promise he had this season. Breaks an ankle. It's like, yo, man, what's he doing on that ankle right there? We know it's fake and all, but anything could happen.
Yeah, but like I said the other day.
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, Spot. Wrestling it's real, buddy. It's real.
What are you talking about?
I mean, it is sports entertainment, but
it's a bit of a tussle. It could be rough. Gotta be gentle. Take it easy. As they say in New York, take it easy.
I have a question.
Take it easy.
Come on, Cam, take it easy. He's celebrating his 10,000th follower. So he has 10,000 followers on Twitch. So what he does is he takes an energy drink in celebration, he puts it in a cleat, and he does the infamous shoey. There you go. I don't get down like this. This is where the party stops for me. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not the less bash heads and less, punch a wall kind of guy.
I mean, it's his own shoe.
Yeah, but that's gross.
I hope it's a clean shoe.
I mean, but regardless, it's his shoe. If
But
it
dude,
was,
when
I wouldn't drink out of your shoe.
When people do shoeys, they're not always clean shoes. Look at them. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, let's go shoeys. So I call this, you can call it whatever you want. But me personally, Steve Covino, I call this the weakest party moves.
Oh, this is your no-no list?
Yeah, this is Steve Covino's no-no list. I don't get down like that.
All right, so
like,
if you're a guy like Covino,
if someone's like, yo, dude, let's do a shoey, I'm like, how about no?
I've heard Covino actually say at parties, even when he was younger, even before he knew him, for some reason, Covino's like, I don't scattaboo.
I don't scattaboo. I don't scat. Hey, you know what? You scattaboo. I'm going to go talk to some chicks. That was my mindset back
here
then.
we go.
No,
all right,
seriously,
so what are the things that
this
even
isn't like a turnoff, dude?
Even when you were in college and you were living with your buddies at the frat house or whatever the hell you were doing, what are the things you would never do?
You could call these fun time party antics from back in the day. I call these weak ass moves. These moves come with a lifetime guarantee. No ass for a lifetime. Guaranteed.
For people that aren't a stick in the mud like you, maybe things that we've graduated past.
Fine. Whatever you want to call it.
Okay, let's go.
I'm kicking it off with keg stands. Have I done one in my life? One. One and done. No bueno.
I don't think I've ever done
Lame. Vatos don't keg stand. That's a rare photo right there.
That's what I said.
So keg standing.
No, this is a photo of you from college.
Get out of here.
I graduated. What else does not fly with Steve Covino?
Body shots.
Off of dudes?
Anybody. Like really,
I mean,
if she's a smoke show and I'm just a horned up dude, yeah, fine. But it's not always like a hot chick that you're getting a body shot from.
Here's the problemo. I'll tell you, I've done body shots off of some good-looking ladies back in the day.
You want to drink a shot out of someone's lint-filled belly button?
No, but here's the problem.
This isn't your style?
But here's the problem.
I don't even know what's going on.
I've done body shots off of women at bars in my 20s, but here's the problem.
Meanwhile,
much
50 other guys have done shots off the same woman.
I mean, if you want to take the words out of my mouth, go ahead. Do the show by yourself then.
Well, don't you have that strip club theory?
My strip club theory is every time you put your face in some girl's big boobs, you're rubbing another dude's face essentially because some other guy's face was right there. So same theory with the body shot.
Barf.
Hot in theory, but the reality is You're like licking her belly where some other dude probably licked her belly.
Let me ask you this. I get it. We all do dumb things when we're young, right? And you could chalk it up to, hey, man, I was in my 20s, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But you got to graduate from these things. Beer funnels / helmets.
Okay, I'm with you. I never felt the instinct, and I'm not saying I'm above it. We've all had our fair share of drunk fun times as young men. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Covino's boy.
That's right.
Exhibit. All right, hey, yo, we're getting closer and closer to game time. Yo, who you got? Ole Miss? You got Miami? What you got?
Dude, I want to see Carson Beck go off.
You know, our buddy Michael Yo, comedian and host,
Yo.
he's going to the game, and I know he's a listener of our show and a longtime friend. Michael Yo is like, you better show Miami some love tonight. But then again, our super agent, Sean Wyman, his son goes to Ole Miss, so he's going to be at the game with his son. So we got friends that are pulling for Ole Miss. We got Miami friends, so should be a good one tonight. Like I said, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. If you're a football fan, you got to be excited more than you've been in a long, long-ass time.
Speaking of, we're talking about Fernando Mendoza on Overpromised in 9 minutes. Covino and Rich FSR. We're going to talk about him, social media, and things that we did in the 90s that we think are weird now, okay? And more. Overpromised, new episode on this YouTube page, Covino and Rich FSR. We do it in 9 minutes. We're live from the Fox Sports Radio studio, Covino and Rich. Show sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and NBA. Right now, use promo code CRSHOW to claim your special offerings at DraftKings. Again, promo code CRSHOW at DraftKings. The crown is yours.
And your next success could begin sooner than you think. Apply now. Save with no application fee. Now through February 11th. University of Maryland Global Campus this new year. Put your goals within reach at an accredited state university. Learn more at umgc.edu. Now, we talked about the sports flexes, like just, like when people are just so athletic. Like,
well, the first time you see some of these, you're not sure if they're real.
Like Michael Jordan taking off from like beyond the free throw line. Like,
how about DK Metcalf chasing that guy down, remember?
Oh, my God, yeah. I was going to say, Bo Jackson breaking a bat over his knee or head or anything in the 80s. Like, there are feats of strength and ability where you're like, what? And, sometimes you forget how strong and athletic people are. Danny Isaac told the story about how Muhammad Ali was just joking around with Jim Brown. And Jim Brown was like, I could fight you. And within 2 seconds, Jim Brown, the legendary story, is like, nah, I'm not even going to joke with you. Like,
you ever see like Ryan Garcia, like, midair hitting a water bottle and just keeping it up because he's so fast?
There's a story I said from the 80s, and no one ever realized, people discount the athleticism of hockey players because they're on skates. There was a race, like a charity, it was some like star race. Wayne Gretzky dusted Pele, Bjorn Borg, and Sugar Ray Leonard in a foot race. Like,
that's wild.
But there's footage of this, and Wayne Gretzky, like, as if he's a championship runner, just dust them.
That's insane.
So
that's a big time flex. Three come to mind for me, and we'll wrap it up with your calls. Ichiro playing like target practice with the bats when he knocks those bats down from the outfield.
Yes.
It's like, is that real?
Yeah.
You ever see David Beckham, who we've interviewed, and he's sickening handsome, but when he hits he's kicking soccer balls on the beach,
bend it like Beckham,
and he's hitting them into the garbage cans.
Yeah.
And how about the first time you saw Tiger Woods dribbling like the golf ball on his club, and then like the first time you saw that, you're like, is that real?
Yeah. Josh and Iowa, real quick. What's up, Josh?
Hey, guys. My sports flex as a kid gave me the ultimate false sense of hope when I saw Spud Webb at 5'4" dunk the ball.
Isn't that wild to think a guy that tiny got those ups? Like, it's like his body is
winning dunk contests, no less.
Off his own bounce passes.
Yeah.
Unreal. Chris in Alabama, what's up?
Hey, guys. How y'all tonight?
We're good. Real quick, we got to roll. So what's your sports flex?
Not so much a flex as a brag. What about the guy that got his junk caught on the pole vault?
No, that's a sports flex.
By the way, that's a perfect way to wrap up our show. A guy in the Olympics who got his junk stuck on the pole vault.
And Sebastian Maniscalco talks about it on his new special.
He
right?
does. Like, I mean, I told everyone when it happens, you'd rather that happen than actually win because
he won.
What are people going to talk about? That or you win in pole vaulting? No one cares. All right, we'll see you guys. Enjoy Miami, Ole Miss, at Covino Rich. Let us know who you got, all right? Arrivederci, baby.
See you in the overpromised land. Later.
Good.